Morning, everybody. Morning, everybody. Ali Alcoholic, Grateful Alcoholic. Thank you so much for being here for the third week. I truly appreciate all of you taking the time to come and allow us to be together here, and also the team as well. Thank you very much for this amazing team that we have. So we're going to jump on, as I promised. I'm not going to spend too much time setting the table today. Last couple of weeks I did. So we're going to just jump right in. Just a couple of small announcements. So I'm going to share on the screen while I make the other small announcements. I'm going to share on the screen our flyer for our in-person. This is the 9th or 8th annual in-person Fellowship of the Spirit Toronto conference. All the information, you don't need to write this down. It'll be on the website there. It says www.FOTS, F-O-T-S, like fellowship is FOTS.to, as in Toronto. So if you go on there, you're going to get all the registration, programming, residences, hotels, and all that information. We'll love to see you guys there. I know we have a lot of people coming from all around. So we'll love to see you guys there, just to make an announcement there about that. And then Kristen has been kind enough to leave the chat open so everyone can communicate for the first 10 minutes. That's so if you haven't already partnered up or partner up with one or more persons so you can catch up in case you miss anything. So you guys can go ahead and exchange numbers here for the next 10 minutes. And then for security reasons, we turn the chat off just to co-host for the rest of this session here. Let's see, what else do I want to cover? At the end of each session, I encourage you to please just from the first session, we sort of invited you to start a table of contents or directions for yourself. At the end of your big book, the first blank page, just start a table of contents, what we cover each session. So because at the beginning, we're going to jump around a lot. And when the time comes, if God sees fit that you take in a new man and you move to use this method, you're going to forget what we did at the beginning, right? So in order to help you with that, I've asked Everly just email to everybody basically what we've covered so far. You should have received the email already. If you're not on our email list yet, because we're going to communicate stuff like this throughout the next few sessions that we have left together. If you're not on our email list, I'm going to ask Everly to please put in the chat the email that she wants you to email us to let us know to put you on an email list, okay? So if you haven't received the email from us yet, up to last night, then you're not on our email list. Just put your email list, either put it, just message directly to Everly. She's the co-host, you'll see Everly, okay? And then she'll take care of that, or she can let you know what email she wants you to email your email to. That's that, and then. Oh, okay, so before we begin, let's begin. Before we begin, if I can have anybody that's moved to do any version that's on your heart of the set-aside prayer, would you please put up your hand electronically? And the first person that puts up their hand, here we go, Vera. Any version of the set-aside prayer, please, and then we can start the session. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. God, help me set aside everything I think I know about you, everything I think I know about myself, everything I think I know about my fellows, and everything I think I know about my recovery. All for a new understanding in you, God, new understanding in myself, a new understanding in my fellows, and a much needed new experience in my recovery. God, thy will be done. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Vera. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. So the first, just a quick little overview. The first session we did, we covered 2.5 to 3 pages, which was a great, I call it the pre-qualification, right? It's a great intro for any new person just to catch them, right? If they're really one of us, they're going to be really intrigued. And then we did the circle and triangle, which is the map of this program. And then we did a contract at the beginning. The previous session, the second session, we covered the only chapter of the step 1 chapters that we're going to cover its entirety, which is the doctor's opinion. Such a foundational chapter in the spiritual text of ours. Today, if we start off at page 23, please. This is where we're jumping around again, right? Remember, we're going to be laser-like in trying to keep the focus on what the newcomer needs in identification. And as always, Please ask yourself these questions if you can relate to these, and then ask yourself, sort of see, do I believe the newcomer would benefit from this? You know, that always makes it much more powerful when I find myself in the pages of this book. So page 23, on the top left, top margin, top left. As always, please write small but big enough so you can see. Okay, please write step 1 dash. I'll repeat it a couple of times. Powerless over alcohol dash mental obsession, or mental blind spot. Excuse me, mental blind spot. Step 1 dash powerless over alcohol dash mental blind spot. Step 1 dash powerless over alcohol dash mental blind spot, and then below it somewhere there, please write page 23 to page 43. Page 23 to page 43. So step 1, the first half of the first step, from the one could say many that came before me have had decades of experience, some giants in AA that have passed on. Their years of working with this sacred text, what they've come up with, and I agree with it, is that from the doctor's opinion to the end of the chapter 3, more about alcoholism, 51 pages, there's a lot covered in that. But the main focus is the first half of the first step. That's a big deal, right? If one step is given about 51 pages, it speaks to the importance of that step, right? So from the doctor's opinion to the top of this page, we wrote at the top of the doctor's opinion, it was step 1 dash physical allergy. What happens to me when I first take a drink, right? Up to this page. From this page, from the top of page 23 to page 43, the focus is going to be on the mental obsession, mental blind spot. So now the second thing that makes me an alcoholic, what happens to me when I'm sober, either for 1 hour, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 10 years, away from the drink, yet my brain takes me back to the drink. They want to discuss that with us. This is the baffling part of alcoholism. Okay, so let's go. These observations, so up to now, we made the observations of, they made with us, what happens when I take a drink? That my body reacts abnormally. I lose control of how much I drink, right? These observations would be academic and pointless if our friends never took the first drink, thereby setting the terrible cycle in motion. Highlighting yellow now, important statement. Therefore, the main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than his body. It would be academic, like studying a textbook, like a schoolwork, and pointless. If I don't relate to this, it's just pointless. Doesn't even matter, right? So what if I have an allergy to alcohol? Let's say I have an allergy to peanuts, right? I won't ever suffer the repercussions of that, the consequences if I never pick up a peanut, right? So they're saying, oh, well, you have an allergy to alcohol. That's pointless if you never pick up the first drink in the first place. Therefore, in yellow, the main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than his body. Okay, no more yellow. If you ask him why he started on that last bender, the chances are he will offer, try to see yourself in these, okay? The chances are he will offer you any one of 100 alibis, 100 reasons why. Sometimes these excuses have a certain plausibility. My mother passed away, I got fired, she dumped me. But none of them really make sense in the light of the havoc an alcoholic's drinking bout creates. Okay? Now, would you please grab the yellow? We're going to highlight the next sentence. They sound like the philosophy of a man. This is yellow. They sound like the philosophy of a man having a headache, beats himself in the head with a hammer so that he can't feel the ache. I love that analogy. It's so true, right? Ow, ow. Hold on, it'll be different this time. Ow, I have a headache. Put a question mark after ache, please. Put a question mark after ache. And if you can relate to that, going back to your step 1 experience, put a Y to the right of the question mark. Okay. If you know, like we could turn almost every statement into question, but we haven't, because some of them are similar, right? We want to move the newcomer through this laser-like. And what we're highlighting is really focusing on the mental obsession. Okay? If you, no more yellow, if you draw this fallacious, this wrong reasoning to the attention of an alcoholic, he will laugh it off or become irritated and refuse to talk, question mark. Have you ever been that? Again, Y or yes, somewhere there. Once in a while, he may tell the truth. And the truth, if you grab the yellow highlighter now, start highlighting yellow from truth. The truth, strange to say, is usually that he has no more idea why he took the first drink than you have. That's in yellow, important. Okay, no more yellow. Some drinkers have excuses with which they are satisfied part of the time, but in their hearts, they really do not know why they do it, question mark, after it. So after this page, I'm gonna ask some friends to come and share laser-like on specific questions, okay? Question marks. Because that's true for me. In my heart, I had 1,000 excuses. You know, sometimes I had lost my job and sometimes I was depressed. And if I'm honest with myself, sometimes I was just celebrating something that happened in my life and I was very happy, right? But I had a brain that told me a drink is an option. Once this malady has a real hold, they are a baffled lot, question mark. Were you baffled? Mr. Newcomer, are you baffled? Do you know why you do it? There is the obsession that somehow, someday, they will beat the game. Question mark. Have you ever had that experience? That'll be different this time. It won't be as bad. I'll show them. I'll come back from this one easily. But they often suspect they are down for the count, question mark. Deep down within you, have you ever feel like, man, I'm never gonna beat this thing. I think I'm always doomed to be this way. Okay. So just on the question marks, okay? Just on the question marks, can I please get some friends, if you are so moved, to put up your hands electronically, if you are so moved, and just be very laser-like, okay? This question, this is how I relate, very specific from my drinking. If you're so moved. Thank you so much, and beautiful. If you're putting up your hand, if you have your video on, okay, Monica, hi, come on up, please. Frank, would you unmute Monica, please, brother?
You guys go ahead. I thought I was just identifying. So.
Oh, okay, no, thank you, Monica. Michelle, laser-like, specific on any questions. Thank you, Michelle.
I'm trying to find the question, but I always said I would not grow up and be like my father, yet I did the exact same. I was the exact same. Like, so I can't remember which question it was, but that's it. We don't know really why we do it, right?
That's right. Thank you, Michelle. Mary C. in Boston, come on up, please.
Hi, definitely can relate. I've been in over 30 treatment centers, and each time I was physically sober and I just couldn't understand why I drank because of the situation I was in. I was miserable, but still drank anyways. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mary C. Linda H., come on up, please.
Hi, I'd like to comment about not knowing about why I take the first drink. I was at a place to have just a sandwich in that, and I don't know how it happened. A beer appeared before me, and there I went for the races. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Mateo, come on up, brother, please.
Hi. Yeah, when it talks about laughing it off and becoming irritated before I came into AA, that's exactly how I was. People were concerned and trying to tell me things, and I was just like, no, I don't have a problem. I just really enjoy doing this. It's fine. Until I started throwing up blood, and then I was like, oh, then I have a problem. And then going down, realizing I'm down for the count, thinking that I can do this on my own, and then having no solutions. It took me a long time until I came into AA.
Thank you, Mateo. Leanne, come on up, please.
Good morning, Allie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leanne, alcoholic, and I can definitely identify with why I had no defense. I didn't know why. I'm one of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Sandra, come on up, please.
Okay, now I'm in. Oh, sorry. this kind of goes, I'm Sandra, I'm in Woodstock, Ontario, and I'm an alcoholic. Kind of goes with all of the questions, but I was in Alcoholics Anonymous sober for almost 2 years. And I was out of town on a holiday, got really stressed out. I decided that I was going to drink just while I was on the holiday. And when I got back, I'd be fine. And I wasn't. So I don't know if that's part of beating the game or whatever. And I got back. It took me 6 weeks to get back in and stop.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you, everybody. So the people that have your hands up, please keep your hands up. We'll get you on the next batch of questions coming up. We're going to dig deeper. So as we said at the beginning, from this page to page 43, 20 pages, it focuses on the mental blind spot, basically. When I'm sober, what happens to me, right? But we're going to be very efficient in this. We're going to cover those 20 pages in 4 pages today. 4 pages of powerful, dig real deep. And some friends here may be really challenged in your understanding of the mental blank spot, right? So just please set everything aside. Let's have a new experience together, okay? So we're going to continue now. How true this is, if you realize, in a vague way, their families and friends sense that these drinkers are abnormal, but everybody hopefully awaits the day when the sufferer will arouse himself from this lethargy and assert his willpower. Question mark. Did your family members or did you yourself think, man, I just got to assert my willpower here, man? The truth is that if the man be a real alcoholic, please circle real alcoholic, circle that with pen, and then also highlight it in yellow or whatever important statement highlight you have. It's real alcoholic, yellow, and circle it, okay? That's it for the yellow. The truth is that if the man or woman be a real alcoholic, the happy day may not arrive. I may never be able to assert my willpower. There may never be enough power in me or anyone else to help me stay stopped. Please grab the yellow highlighter, important. He has lost control. That's in yellow. He has lost control. We're going to continue in yellow, okay? At a certain point in the drinking of every alcoholic, he passes into a state where the most powerful desire to stop drinking is of absolutely no avail. Yellow up to there. Okay, we did a yellow highlight, important, from he has lost to absolutely no avail. And after avail, please put a question mark and leave the left margin totally empty, please. We're going to need it for writing. Put a Y somewhere around the question mark, if you relate to that. Do you relate to that? That the most powerful desire to stop drinking was absolutely no avail. Love of children, love of parents, jails, institutions. Absolutely no avail. Health scares. At a certain point of every alcohol, he passes into a state. Okay? Perfect. No more yellow. The tragic situation has already arrived in practically in every case long before it's suspected. I don't see it coming. I don't see when I'm in it. I don't see when I've crossed it. Just can't see it. That's what makes this cunning, baffling, and powerful. Part of the reason, right? If you grab the yellow highlighter now. All right, here we go. This is such a beautiful, powerful paragraph, right? By the way, besides the fact that we're highlighting what we perceive to be some important statements, the whole book is important, right? Anytime, this is for the newer friends, okay, that may be newer into the program at step 12, and I know a lot of times I'm preaching to the choir. So anytime you see italics are newer friends in this big book, that means they have deemed it important originally. So it's super important, okay? So this next entire italic small paragraph, please highlight in yellow. We're going to come back and really unpack it and dive deep into this. The fact is that most alcoholics, for reasons yet obscure, we don't know yet, have lost the power of choice in drink. We're going to come back to that choice idea. Our so-called willpower becomes practically non-existent. We are unable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of a week or a month ago. We are without defense against the first drink. That's a powerful paragraph. That paragraph right there, it covered 20 pages right there of mental obsession. That's it right there. That paragraph. Okay? let's go back. So you've highlighted all that in yellow, important statement. Let's go back to the beginning. The fact is that most alcoholics, for reasons yet obscure, we're going to make it stand out even more. Please circle these words like an oval. Lost the power of choice in drink. Lost the power of choice in drink. Okay. To the left of the circle, right there in the text, to the left of the circle, outside of the circle, what you have circled, please put an asterisk. Please put an asterisk. And put brackets around that asterisk. To the left of that circle. Okay, we're going to come back to this. Asterisk, but we're going to come back to this. Asterisk, okay, perfect. So our so-called willpower becomes practically non-existent. So this analogy always helps. And like, as I said, I think in pictures sometimes, and analogies dumb things down for me, and I get it, right? So this analogy always helps me. So when it says lost the power, what does it say? Our willpower becomes practically non-existent. Okay, it's like this. It's like, it's not like, imagine if there was a heavy table here, and you tell me to lift it, and it lifts and it weighs 200 pounds. Okay, it's not that I'm not strong enough to lift the table. Okay, it's not like that my willpower is not strong enough to do this. It's not that I'm, in this analogy, I'm not physically strong enough. It's that I don't have arms to lift the table. Our willpower becomes practically non-existent. My arms don't exist to lift that little light laptop for you. It's not nothing to say about my lack of moral character, my intelligence, my sexual preference, my religious leaning, my political leaning, my socioeconomic background, my intelligence has nothing to do with it. In fact, intelligence seems to be the worst thing for me, or how smart I think I am. What I think I know, right? So it's that I don't have arms to lift the table. Willpower non-existent, okay? So we are unable at certain times. So check this out. This is how cunning, baffling this illness is. So at certain times, I don't have the power to bring into my consciousness the suffering humiliation a week ago. But at certain times I do. And you know what this disease does? It makes me highlights those certain times that I can. And it tells me I'm not an alcoholic, right? That's how cunning, baffling it is. That's like, for me, that's like this, okay? Imagine if I'm playing Russian roulette, you know, with those old Western 6-shooters, right? You see sometimes people play Russian roulette where you put one bullet in one of the chambers and you spin it, right? And you put it in your head. So this, to me, when I'm honest with myself and I see the history of what drink had done in my life for 20 years, the destruction that it caused, right? My brain would tell me, hey, do you remember that last time? You said a couple of drinks and that's it. You're making a big deal. That's like me putting a bullet in that chamber and saying, hey, at certain times when I pull the trigger, it doesn't fire at certain times. That's how insane it is, okay? At certain times, unable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. Put a question mark after ago. And put your yes right to the right of the question mark. Please leave the left margin totally blank. We needed to do some writing there. It says, we are without defense against the first drink. We are without defense against the first drink, okay? So, we're going to go even deeper into this paragraph because this is paragraph basically all we need to help someone identify with the mental obsession, okay? But before we do that, the people that have their hands up, would you please laser-like, very specific, 30 seconds top, share on this from your personal experience. We are unable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. Sorry to put you on the spot, but Wendy, come on up, please.
Thank you. It's been a really long time since I had some of these memories, but I do remember over and over and over again, you know, being so sick in the morning and so no clarity about where I found I mean, I'm waking up in somebody else's bed. Like, I don't know where I am and who I was with, and, you know, so ashamed. And the next night I'm in the same bar, looking for the same Mr. Goodbar, looking for the same, you know, hit. So yeah, yeah, that's enough. Thanks.
Thank you, Wendy. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Leslie, come on up, please, from London.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I remember, I'd been in a job for at least 25 years. So it was very difficult to get rid of me. They gave me 2 months off to sort my act out. And the morning that I came back to work, I still took the morning drink, even though I knew my family and everybody depended on it. And I still took the morning drink on the way to work.
Thank you so much, Leslie. By the way, I so enjoy listening to you guys, and I think it's so much better for the workshop to listen to you guys, because it really I think shines the light on why we have such great interest. You know, the numbers that we're getting the first few sessions, because it has nothing to do with the messenger, it has everything to do with what we're talking about. We're all seekers here, right? So I just love listening to you guys. Thank you. Stacy, come on up, please.
Hi everyone, good morning. Stacy and George, Park Ridge, Illinois. Alcoholics and addicts. What this is bringing to me is that I want instant gratification. I don't remember, it just, at certain times, I don't remember the pain, the remorse, because I want what I want when I want it. And it's probably selfish, and it's instant gratification. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Stacy and George. Sandy, come on up, please.
Thank you, Allie. Yeah, I very much related to this. I've been in the program for a long time, and I had just celebrated my first anniversary, and I was at work. I got out of work. We were going on vacation. I got out of work and I drove to a package store and bought a 6-pack of wine coolers and hid them in the car because so my husband wouldn't see it. And I have absolutely no idea. I was strong in my program. I was doing all the right things. And yet, without any thought in my mind, I drove, bought that, and for 6 days, I went back out there. And thank you, God brought me back within 6 days, because I did remember the humiliation. But during that initial drink and those 6 days, I was gone. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Last person, Lisa, and then please keep your hands up. We're going to continue. Lisa, hi.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I mean, lost my kids over and over. Wasn't enough. Just went back because of the instant gratification. And it's the liar. The liar tells me I can do this. It's not that bad, but it's all bullshit. When it says the lost power of choice and drink, I also think I replace drink with think, because my thoughts pattern is not right. It's just not. And I was with a historian of AA the other day, and he told me that the italics, back when they made the big book, cost $1 a word. And that was back in 1935 or 39 when they wrote the book. That's how important they wanted these italics to be, that they spent that kind of money on $1 a word, if you can. So I pretty friggin' strong attention to the italics when they write them. Thanks, Allie.
Thank you, Lisa. Nice to see you. Please keep your hands up. We're going to keep going. Okay, here we go. So, lost the power of choice in drink, right? We've circled that paragraph is highlighted. We've circled it, and we put an asterisk right outside the circle with a bracket around. Okay. So now, what I would like you to do, please pay attention. Okay. The left margin, turn the big book clockwise 90 degrees, so your left margin is now facing you. Okay. You're going to begin writing to the very top left of that long left margin. We're going to go long ways across, right? So we're going to go long ways across. I'm going to go long ways across. Okay. So that asterisk that you've put on right beside lost the power of drink, you're going to put the same asterisk. You're going to put an asterisk on the top left and put brackets around it. What that means is that when you're reading this with the new person, you're going to highlight. And then when you see the asterisk, you're going to come and turn the book around and read the notes. Okay? So asterisk, bracket. Everyone's good with that, I hope? Yes? Okay, good. Now, please write small, but big enough so you can read it. We're going to have to write read small here. We have a bit of writing here. We're going to have about 4 lines here, potentially, okay? The first question you're going to ask yourself, okay? Did I choose to drink on any of my last relapses? Question mark. So write small. It should cover just like maximum 1 line. Did I choose to drink in any one of my last relapses? Did I choose to drink on any one of my last relapses? So I'm going to take some quick. Okay, so how are we going to do this? I don't want people, okay. The people that you have your hand up, keep your hand up. I don't want you to lose your place. Just a show of hands, okay? People that believe today, okay? Just think about your last relapse or the last couple of years or last 2 months of your drinking, right? When you just wanted to stay stopped and you relapsed. Want to stay that way, when the time where you got pissed off at your girlfriend and you drove to the liquor store and you put your bank card in the bank machine, took the money out, went and paid for it, came back, opened the bottle and started drinking. The question to you is, did you choose to drink? If you believe that you chose to drink on your last relapses, please put your hands up electronically. Yeah, please, just put your hands up electronically. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Got it. Beautiful. Okay. The people that put up their hands electronically because of the last question, please put it down now. The people had their hands up originally, leave your hands up. I want you guys, you're in line to share with you, right? Beautiful. Thank you very much. So, okay. Now here's how I want you to ask yourself this. Remember, we're setting aside everything that we think we know, right? Just ask yourself this. If you had the power to make the choice to go to the liquor store and drink, then how is that line up with what the big book is saying? What we circled there. How does that line up for you? Where it says the alcoholic have lost the power of choice in drink. How does that line up for you? Just think about it, sit with it. Here's a question I have for you. If you have the power, if you believe you had the power to choose or drink or not, like I can choose to drink or not, right? Then why didn't you make a choice not to drink when your kids were taken away? After the 5th suicide attempt in my case. When you ended up in jail, how come you didn't make the choice if you had the choice, if you chose to go to drink? Just something to think about, right? Now, this may seem like we're doing a philosophical discussion. No, we're not. This is very true and real and important and potent spiritual truth to look at in my life. What alcoholism is. Does that make sense? I am logically, sanely, soundly making a choice to go to the liquor store to pick up the drink, and my kids are going hungry. They haven't seen daddy in about 10 days. Does that make sense to you? Is that a rational human being, sane human being making a sane choice? Something to consider, right? I don't know. I don't know. See, when I woke up to this, that perhaps, I just consider that perhaps, Ali, you were never involved at all. Perhaps you were not making a choice. Perhaps there is a power. Perhaps this disease is so powerful that it was making the choice for you. Perhaps I was not involved the whole time. Because if I can truly get, when I truly got, that's how powerless I am next to this illness, man, my recovery took a different turn. Man, I had a step 1 experience and I dove in the rest of the steps like my life depended on it. Because I'm powerless. What choice? Right? That's like to say Now, please, I hope you guys are offended. I get a little passionate sometimes. Please, I get it. I was the same. I understand, right? So we're not at all attacking the person. We're trying to dismantle ideas that don't work, shine the light on ideas that are false, that have me sick, right? So it's an analogy is like this, okay? So if I imagine in this made up hypothetical world that I have this made up hypothetical disease of the mind, mental illness, that this mental illness has me grabbing a hot stove, burning hot stove. Ow, ow, ow. Ali, stop. Ali, stop. I end up in jail, 3rd-degree burn. I can't work. My wife makes fun of me. Friends start leaving. I'm never going to do this to you again. I'm never going to grab that hot stove because it burns my hand. I know it. It'll be different this time. Ow. Would you say that if you had me as a friend and I had this insane disease of the brain, would you say to your other friends, would you say, look at that loser. He's making a choice. He keeps making a choice. Stop choosing, right? You wouldn't say that. After some point of observing, you would say, man, this guy's got really something wrong with his brain. It's almost as if something in his brain is driving him to self-destruct. It's beyond his choice or power. Is everyone with me on this one? Yeah? Right? That's a deep conception to unpack, right? So, did I choose to drink on any of my last relapses? I had to concede. Now I go through this with a new person. I ask them to give me examples. I give them examples. I start to question the reasoning, right? Well, if I'm honest with you guys, no. The sane and sound mind was not making a sane and sound choice. It was as if something inside of my brain has hypnotized me and is driving me to self-destruction of everything good in life. Go pick up the first drink. I have no choice. It's choosing for me. If I have a choice, that means I'm not powerless. If I have the choice, that I don't need the 12 steps because I have the power within me. If I believe I made a choice to drink, that means I also believe deep down inside of me, not that I know it consciously as a new person coming in and out. If I think I made a choice to go drink, that the deep down belief system inside of me is that I have the power to stop. That's why for years I dibble-dabbled in the steps. That's why for years I came in and out of the meetings questioning your God and your steps. That's why for years I wasn't teachable. That's why for years I went after the romantic relationships thinking that'll fix me. That's where the power of sobriety and happiness lies. That's why for years I went after accolades and school and jobs and looking good. And because I truly thought that I have the power somewhere inside of me because I made a choice to drink. I hope this is clear for a lot of friends that put up your hands. Just at least, I just humbly ask that at least you consider what we just talked about and sit with it for a couple of days and consider, because it'll change your life, man. It'll change your life. And it'll change the experience you pass on to the new person. 20 pages, they try to hammer home to us that very point that you don't have a choice, you never had a choice, you'll never have a choice. You're powerless. Seek the power now. 51 pages on the first half of the first step on identification, on powerlessness. Why? Because if I don't identify, then really step 2 is mute, pointless. It'll seem like hocus pocus. I'll argue with it. I'm on the debating society. God, no God, Christian God, Muslim God. But if I truly get what this disease is, and also match my experience with it, you know what I mean? When I reach the second step, there isn't much debating in me. I may not agree with it totally, but at least I can, okay, I'm willing to believe. Fine. Because, okay, fine. You know what I mean? Now, also, I want to bring up this point. I don't know why it's taking me where it's taking me. So just because we take a new person through these pages and they sort of, doesn't mean now you have the information, now you have to get it. No, because it's not just the information. This book, this paragraph, all of a sudden becomes 1,000 kilometers deep for me when this information, I get it in my own experience. I can lay my experience next to it. Oh, that's what alcoholism is. This is what made me identify to two men who couldn't be further in likeness from me, Dr. Bob and Bill, right? in who I was, who I am today. But I got to see, do you mean I'm an alcoholic like these guys were? So maybe this program can work for me too. Okay, so now, again, I mentioned this the first few, right? It's difficult, you know, the Spirit invokes conversations with a group, which is a little bit different from conversations with an individual when I'm taking someone through that, right? So when I'm taking someone through the one-on-one, I may not, you know, it might be a little bit different, but basically the message is the same. The message is the same. So now, perfect. Okay, beautiful. So here's the next question, okay? So below the first question on the left margin, okay, first question took a line, it was very small. We're gonna try to write 4 lines if you can, if not, we'll fit it somewhere there. So right below, did I choose to drink on my last relapse? Write small, start from the very left, right below that, on the left margin, we're going across. Please write this. Did I choose to stay sober this morning, question mark? Flip side of the other coin. Ooh, this is powerful. Did I choose to stay sober this morning, question mark? Thank you so much, Kristen. Kristen is kind enough to put the question as what we say in the chat as well. So check out the chat too. Did I choose to stay sober this morning? Okay. So now, I want you to ask yourself, please, this question in these 2 ways, okay? Either, and I'm gonna ask, just think about it, I'm gonna ask friends that believe they did make a choice to put up their hands, okay, electronically. So ask yourself this. So this morning when I woke up, did I choose to stay sober? Did I make a choice? And if that doesn't quite resonate, ask yourself this, okay? Go through your experience in recovery, in sobriety, okay? The time when I went to a barbecue at a friend's barbecue, or when I went to that wedding, my friend's wedding, and the waiter came to me unknowingly, brought a glass of wine from me or beer from me. And I said, no, thank you, I don't drink. Did I make a choice? Did I make a choice to say, no, thank you, I don't drink? Did I make a choice not to drink at that time? Okay. For the friends that believe that they stay sober this morning because they made a choice to, or when somebody offers them a drink, they're making a choice not to drink, please put up your hands electronically. Yeah, I made a choice. I made a choice not to drink this morning. When that waiter came to me and said, hey, here's a bottle of wine. And I said, no, thank you, I don't drink. I made a choice to not drink. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. So please put down your hands, except for the people that had their hands up at the beginning that would like to share. Okay. Here we go. We're going to challenge that one too. Okay. Okay. So let's go back to the line. Let's go back to the italics that we circled and put an asterisk beside. How does that line up against this idea though? Lost the power of choice and drink. If you decided this morning or the last time the waiter came to you and when you were sober, here's a drink. No, thank you, I don't drink. If you believe, if your deep belief system is that you now have the power of choice to drink, you're now choosing to drink, then how does that match up with this? Lost the power of choice and drink. Throughout this book, throughout these next 20 pages, it will be peppered in different places. The alcoholic is a man who's lost his legs. He never grows new ones. He's lost the power of choice in drink. We've never had a power of choice in drink throughout this book. How is that your belief system line up against this? Just ask yourself that, because I used to think that, right? I would like you to consider, set aside what you think you know, consider, I just propose, okay? That perhaps, okay, I'll talk about me. So I got that I didn't have I finally got that, man, it wasn't me choosing to drink. It was alcoholism choosing for me to drink. I was just a vessel of destruction and drinking, right? Like a puppet master had his hand up my butt, drink, 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 drink. Pick a reason to drink. I had no power to choose to drink, okay? Now, I get sober, I'm in recovery, and that question is asked to me. And I had to really think about this. So if I have the power to choose to drink or not, then why do I need to tap into a power greater than me? Where does God come into this? If it's Ali, the human being, making a choice, because it happened to me. My sister's 1-year wedding anniversary 3-4 years ago. We were at a restaurant, 30 people, this person restaurant. The waiter comes, brings us, I used to like Stella too, Stella or Heineken, I forget what it was, right? Cold, like sweat coming off it, a few beers. And here's your Stella. No, thank you, I don't drink. If that was me choosing to drink, where's God in this? If I believe now I have the choice, then why do I need to tap into a power? Why do I need to continuously be in the middle of the circle and triangle to deepen this relationship with this power greater than me? I like you to consider, I invite you to consider, the friends that believe they made a choice to stop. No, that's not me. No, I don't drink anymore. That perhaps it had nothing to do with you still. Perhaps this power has given you a spiritual defense. Perhaps this power gave you spiritual clarity and took away the desire to drink and the choices made for you. When I truly opened up my heart to that concept, the concept that I am powerless and I don't have the power of choice and I never had it and I never will, it's either two things happen for me. Either alcoholism will drive me and eventually choose for me to drink, power greater than me, or I try my best on a daily basis to tap into and develop a relationship with the power greater than me, this power, and this power will give me spiritual defense and it will choose for me. It was such a humbling consideration for me. I was so humbled by that. You mean of myself, I am nothing? Is the Father of light? You mean either there is two forces in my life, alcoholism driving me or the power of God, and I just got to seek God and he or she or it will give me spiritual defense? Just asking you to consider. I'm not asking you to swallow it and accept it. Just consider, try it on, take it on, sit with it, contemplate on it. Because when I truly awoke to that, it changed my recovery. It changed my life. I am powerless, man. I'm not making a choice. I need this power. I need this power. Now, I don't want to, so I hope our friends here, you guys realize I'm not trying to have an argument about semantics. That's not what we're doing here. You know, there's a deep spiritual undertone here about powerlessness. There's a reason why 51 pages are spent on the first half of the first page. There's a reason why any old timers that you talk about, they say in their own ways, the only step you got to get 100% is the first step. There is a reason why you see some people, why I see some people, man, breathe this way of life and they shine the way they do. Because they had a profound step one experience that's driven them to this path, like only a drowning man seeks a life preserver. That's why. Because that's how powerful this concept is to get. And it's gonna challenge your own deep belief systems, right? Some friends, right? But I tell you, it did me. And when I truly woke up to that, when I conceded to my innermost self that I'm an alcoholic, that means I'm powerless. I never had the power of choice when I was drinking. I don't have the power of choice to stay sober. There's either the power of alcoholism or the power of God. I became really humble. I became really, really humble. By the way, I got a little bit embarrassed now. I apologize. I felt like I went somewhere else for the last 10 minutes. I just got back. I'm sorry. I get a little passionate sometimes. Okay, here we go. So the left, now we're gonna take some hands, okay? I wanna see here some sharing on this one. So the left margin again, back to the same left margin, page 24, clockwise, so the left margin is facing you. you have two lines in there. The first line is, did I choose to drink on any of my last 3 lapses, question mark. The second line is, did I choose to stay sober this morning, question mark. We're gonna have 2 more lines under this, okay? So the third line is, please write small. Basically what we talked about, okay? I'm gonna put it down so you have it, so you can talk to a newcomer about it, so you can contemplate on it, okay? So if I have the power to choose to drink or not, comma. If I have the power to choose to drink or not, comma. If I have the power to choose to drink or not, comma. Then why did I not choose to stay sober before, question mark. Then why did I not choose to stay sober before, question mark. There's one more question after that, so you got to fit it there somewhere. If you can't there, the bottom margin maybe, put an arrow, do what you got to do. Okay, start from the beginning. If I have the power to choose to drink or not, comma. Thank you so much, Kristen. Then why did I not choose to stay sober before? So when we say choose here, we mean we make a choice and I stick by it. I'm not talking about the choice, I'll never do this again, and then my wife divorces me. Then why did I do it before if I have the power to choose, right? I gotta ask that. Last question. Then why do I need to access power through the 12 steps, question mark? Then why do I need to access power through the 12 steps, question mark? Then why do I need to access power through the 12 steps? Thank you, Kristen, for putting in the chat. So those are the questions we're putting on the left margin, right? Then why do I need to access power through the 12 steps? Those are some powerful step 1 considerations. There's a reason they spent 20 pages on the first half of the first step. 43 pages and 20 of them are on the mental obsession. Right? Okay, now, beautiful. And I really hope friends have already gone partners and groups that they can, in case you miss something, can catch each other up. So let's go back to the big book. See, we just took that paragraph and took a deep dive into it, right? Really deep dive, really deep dive. So now, the almost certain consequences that follow taking even a glass of beer do not crowd into the mind to deter us, question mark. You're gonna put the why very close to the question mark, right? Because the left margin is taken already. Has that happened to you? That the almost certain consequences don't even come to the mind to deter you? If these thoughts occur, like, man, this is not a good idea, they are hazy and readily supplanted, replaced with the old threadbare idea that this time we shall handle ourselves like other people, question mark after people, question mark after people. Grab the yellow highlighter. The last 2 sentences, 2 lines in this paragraph is yellow important. There is a complete failure of the kind of defense that keeps one from putting his hand on the hot stove, as the analogy that we already used, right? The complete failure. Ow, 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 ow. It'll be different this time. Okay, no more yellow highlighting. The alcoholic may say to himself in the most casual way, it won't burn me this time, and here's how. Or perhaps he doesn't think at all, question mark. We're in the middle of page 24. So that question mark covers both all the statements that came previous to it, right? The alcoholic may say to himself, have you ever said to yourself in the most casual way, man, the drink won't hurt me this time? Or, you know what? The thought doesn't even come to my head. It didn't even come to my head at all. I just picked it up. Question mark, right? How often have some of us begun to drink in this nonchalant way, and after the 3rd or 4th drink, pounded on the bar and said to ourselves, for God's sakes, how did I ever get started again? Question mark. After again, question mark. only to have that thought supplanted with, well, I'll stop with the 6th drink, or what's the use anyhow? Question mark is already there. Please answer that with a Y to the right of that. It's already there. Okay, last paragraph here, and I'm going to come back and I want to take some laser-like sharing for a few minutes, please, around the concepts we discussed. When this sort of thinking is fully established in an individual with alcoholic tendencies, grab the yellow highlighter now, highlight in yellow, he has probably placed himself beyond human aid. Only that part in yellow. He or she has probably placed himself beyond human aid. Search your own experience. Was love ever enough? Love of kids, love of parents, love of the opposite sex, love of wives, love of children, love of boyfriends. Was that ever enough? Courses ever enough? Degrees ever enough? Jobs ever enough? Encouragement ever enough? Search your own experience. Churches, police, courts. Beyond human aid. No more yellow. And unless locked up, may die or go permanently insane. These stark and ugly facts have been confirmed by legions of alcoholics throughout history. But for the grace of God, there would have been thousands more convincing demonstrations. So many want to stop but cannot. So many want to stop but cannot. Okay, beautiful. On the top margin of page 25, please write this question for yourself and answer it, okay? Top margin, page 25. Start from the top left, right. Do I believe I am powerless over staying sober on my own, question mark. Do I believe I am powerless over staying sober on my own, question mark. Do I believe I'm powerless over staying sober on my own? Question mark, and answer that for yourself. So the first, alcohol, I keep repeating myself. Alcoholism, only 2 things make me an alcoholic, Mr. New Person, right? One is when I pick up the drink, what happens to me in terms of controlling how much I drink. We covered that already in previous sessions. In this session, we just basically covered when I'm sober. That's the second thing that makes me an alcoholic. When I'm sober, the brain that takes me back to the first drink. So now, do I believe I'm powerless over staying sober on my own? Question mark. If I believe that, you put a yes over there. Okay. Very good. Okay. So now, I want to take some, please, laser-like sharing around those 2 concepts that we questioned, we sort of talked about earlier. The first question is, the belief system that my last relapse, or I was choosing to drink, and the new idea that perhaps it wasn't you, perhaps alcoholism was choosing for you, because that's an insane choice, right? That, and then the other one, either or both. The other one is that the times in recovery when you refuse to drink, well, how does that sit with you? The idea that maybe you weren't even choosing to drink, there was a power greater than yourself. Those 2 ideas. I hope that's clear. Laser-like sharing. Lorraine, come on up, please.
Hi, Lorraine, alcoholic. I had raised my hand to the part of no mental defense against the first drink. I drank around the clock for 5 weeks. I managed to stop with sedatives. It was a killer week to get off that alcohol. And 2 months later, I just got up and went and got a 6-pack of beer one day. It never even occurred to me what happened to me in that 5 weeks and how bad that week was. It didn't even cross my mind. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. So around those 2 concepts of making a choice to drink when I drank, do I believe I chose, or was that alcoholism choosing me? Can I concede to that? And when I'm sober, I'm refusing to drink. Do I still believe that I have power to choose, or can I consider? Well, how does that sit with me? That perhaps I'm not involved, that there's a power greater than me. Dan, come on up, please, brother.
I'm Dan. I'm a recovered alcoholic. So many times I sat in front of a liquor store wondering what I was doing there. And my wife and child had said, quit drinking or leave. And I walked out because I knew I couldn't stop drinking, not because I didn't love them. And the last most clear time was when I got out of the hospital. The doctor told me I'd die if I drank again. And I had absolutely no intentions of drinking again. I decided that no matter how bad it hurt, no matter how painful it was, I was not going to drink again. And I didn't make it home. I was sitting in the liquor store wondering what I was doing there. And I thought, I'm crazy. There's something wrong with my brain. And this morning, my only choice this morning was to live a spiritual life or die an alcoholic death. And I chose to live a spiritual life. And that's why I'm here. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thanks, brother. So if you do have your hand up, please, Heather, put your video on so we can ask you to share. Otherwise, we're going to skip you and come back to you when you have your video on. Mabel, please come on up. Or Mabel.
Hi, I'm Mabel. I'm an alcoholic. I really want to thank you for the way you went through this paragraph today, because I did raise my hand when I was saying, yeah, I chose. And with everything that you said, I thought, oh my God, here I am still trying to have control. I'm still trying to have control and say, yes, I chose that, even though I know it wasn't. Now I say, oh my God, it really wasn't a choice. It wasn't. I didn't choose. Why would I choose that? Who would choose that? But, you know, I'm like, yeah, I chose it. I'm still blaming myself versus accepting the fact that I am an alcoholic. And I'm over 2 years sober. I'm not new to this. And I still have a hard time giving up my will and saying, okay, it isn't my will, and giving it over. I am so thankful that I got on this morning. I've got a terrible headache and I thought I can't miss it. And I wasn't going to miss it. I was meant to be here and to hear these words. I've read this many times, but it's never hit me the way it's hit me today. And I really want to thank you for that. That was beautiful. And I'm so thankful I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabel. God bless you. Thank you so much. Yvette, come on up, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is Yvette. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you, Ali, for demystifying this particular part of this chapter. I went out to for dinner last night with my sober sister, and we were asked if we wanted something to drink, and we both said we don't drink. And thinking about what you said about why tapping into a higher power, you know, is drinking a choice. It wasn't. I had to think, is my higher power really spiritual, or is it me? Am I my own higher power? And it takes me into other parts of the book about being the director of your own show and things of that nature. So I really appreciate clearing this part up. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, Yvette. We'll just take 2 more, and then the rest of the people, please keep your hands up. We'll come to you after. And Matthew, come on up, please.
Hi, how are you, Matthew? Alcoholic. Thanks for your service. I didn't raise my hand on either of them due to my last relapse. It was evident to me I never even have a choice. I get woke up in the morning. I get woke up. There's so many people that don't wake up today. And this morning I got woke up, so I know it's to a power greater than myself. And I have to get down on my knees every day and surrender. I realized I was never going to stop drinking on my own. It was a gift, and my day starts and ends with grace. So thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, brother, for being here. Samantha, hi.
Hi there, Ali. Hello, everybody. Alcoholic Samantha. 2 examples. I was 9 years sober, was in a pub to have dinner, and I excused myself from a table and I went and got a drink. That was over 10 years ago. Actually, it's more like 11 years ago, and I'm over 10 years sober now, but I didn't have a plan to drink that day. I had gotten on my knees in the morning to stay sober. I'd read the daily reflections. You know, I'd done a bunch of things, but I wasn't connected. I was disconnected. I was in my own power, and that power led me to the power of alcoholism, and it was a good lesson, a really good, hard lesson. I was just at a resort and I was handed a drink with alcohol in it. And that was, it was a surprise. I'd asked for something with no alcohol. And I put it to my mouth. I could smell it. And a power greater than me put it down. You know, a power greater than me decided that I'm sober and that I need to continue to walk this sober life. And that I have a God of my understanding in my life that I build a relationship with on a daily basis. And it's a beautiful thing. Thank you for your service, Sally.
Thank you, Samantha. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful examples. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Okay, perfect, beautiful. Now I have an agenda what I want to cover, and God does what God does. Okay, so we're going to cover what we're going to cover. As with the last 2 weeks, my intention is to have a Q&A during our allotted time, but it's just not happening. But I am more than happy and willing, just like the last 2 weeks, I'll stay for about an hour after that. Any questions that you have, I'll be more than happy to be here with you, okay? So now, if you go to page 30 now, we're gonna skip everything else. That's enough. All right, let's go to page 30. So that's 2 pages of a deep dive into what happened, the mental obsession, right? And now page 30, the first page is more about alcoholism, chapter 3, right? So, okay, most of us have been unwilling to admit that we were real alcoholics, question mark. Yes, a newcomer that, right? Look, search with your own experience when you were drinking. Did you ever have times where you're just unwilling to admit that you're a real alcoholic from the understanding that you have now? No person likes to think he's bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people, question mark. If you please grab the yellow highlighter, the rest of that paragraph in yellow, important. The idea that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. That's in yellow. Every single word, to me, just to me, okay? It's just my experience. This big book was not written by a human being. Like I understand Bill Wilson was the vessel. It was inspired in spirit. It was written through him and edited to the first almost 100, however many they were. This is the spirit giving us a message here. Every word in this has depth and weight and meaning. Astonishing, man. All that in yellow, please. So if you go back, grab the pen now. What we just highlighted in yellow, okay, just keep your pen with you. So we've highlighted in yellow. The idea is that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession. Circle the word obsession. Want to make it stand up. Circle the word obsession of every abnormal drinker. Put a question mark after drinker. Was that your obsession in the past? Okay. The persistence of this illusion, circle the word illusion. Illusion, like, illusionist, like, I don't know any new ones, but I remember David Copperfield. He makes you think the lady's disappearing or the Eiffel Tower is disappearing, right? It's just an illusion. It's not, it makes me think that it's not real, right? The persistence of this illusion that I can control my drinking like other people is astonishing. But circle illusion, question mark after astonishing. Okay, perfect. No more yellow. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that. Here we go. Oh, so important here. Grab the yellow highlighter now. From we had to fully concede. That's in yellow. We had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. That's all in yellow. The delusion, this is in yellow too. The delusion that we are like other people or presently maybe has to be smashed. All that in yellow. Grab the pen, please. We're going to come back to this very yellow. We've highlighted in yellow. We had to fully concede. Please circle fully concede. We want to make it stand out even more for the new person and talk about that. Fully concede. To our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. See that? So the first step in recovery is not the knowledge So this is how it occurs to me, okay? I'm not saying this is the only way to look at this, right? The first step in recovery is not just the knowledge that, oh, alcoholism, physical allergy, mental obsession. It's not just that. It's that I can lay my experiences next to that information, see myself in it, to the point where I had to fully concede to my innermost self. I'm powerless, man. I'm an alcoholic. Notice it doesn't say fully concede to Joe, to Kuna, to Michelle, to my mother, to my wife, to the court. No, innermost self. And look, that's the first step in recovery. That's when you've taken the first step, when you can do that. Understand what alcoholism is and fully concede to your innermost self, that with your own experience, man, I'm an alcoholic. That's the first step in recovery. Okay? The delusion, circle delusion, delusion. My mind tricks my mind. It'll be different this time. You're not a real alcoholic. It was just a phase, that suicide attempt. The delusion, circle the word delusion. That we are like other people, that is all in yellow. We are like other people presently maybe have to be smashed. Circle the word smashed. So put a question mark after that. Ask yourself, has that been smashed? Do you relate to this? Okay, perfect. So no more yellow. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the power of choice. Sorry, have lost the power to control our drinking. Question mark. There it is. No control, no choice, no power, no, right? Do you relate to that? Okay. Question mark after drinking. Grab the yellow highlighter, please. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. No real alcoholic ever recovers control. That's in yellow. Early on in one of the first sessions, we read about that certain type of hard drinker. That certain type of hard drinker can recover control. That certain type of hard drinker looks like me and you, the real alcoholic out there when they're active, but given a good enough reason, love, warning of a doctor, new job opportunity, they can stop or moderate. They can control, but no real alcoholic ever recovers control. Okay, no more yellow. All of us felt at times, see if you can relate to this. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by less control, which led in time to, grab the yellow highlighter. Ooh, this hits home. Pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. Pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. Oh man, that's painful. Put a question mark after demoralization, put a yes there. Now, if it's a new person, so what I'm doing is I'm doing a lot less, I'm doing more direct. Do you relate to this? Can you give me an example? If they can't, well, here's an example for me, you know what I mean? So, but we're gonna go through this here for the sake of time. Pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization, that's powerful, okay? No more yellow. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. Question mark. Never better. Search your own experience. When you started drinking, did it get worse or did it get better? For me, it was like, when I stopped drinking, or when it was like I put pause on this scary movie, and then when I picked up again, it just unpaused, and it just started to go even faster to destruction. It wasn't like I went back to the first day when I started drinking. I enjoyed it for a little while. Question mark after better? Yes. Okay. We are like men who have lost their legs. Here it is. They never grow new ones. I never have the power of choice. We'll never have it. I don't have it today. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our kind like other men and women. We have tried every imaginable remedy. Try to see if you can relate to this now. In some instances, there has been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Question mark. Do you relate to that? Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree there's no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. From the word yet, in that little space, put a little line and arrow. Please write this, not today either. In case Mr. and Mrs. Newcomer, you're wondering, science still hasn't accomplished that. Let me know if that happens, okay? I may consider it. But given the beautiful life I have today, probably not. Not today either. Sorry, we're picking up the speed a little bit. I hope everyone can keep up. If you can't, use your groups. Highlight in yellow. 2 more paragraphs in this page. We're almost done, eh? In yellow, the following sentences. So when I stop reading, that's when you stop highlighting yellow, okay? In yellow. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic. The yellow stops there. Put a question mark after non-alcoholic. If you can relate to any of that in any form, put a yes to the right margin or somewhere there. From despite all we can say, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 lines down is yellow, up to therefore non-alcoholic, question mark, okay? If anyone who is showing, no more yellow now, if anyone who's showing inability to control his or her drinking can do the right about face and drink like a gentleman, our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. Notice here, no one in Alcoholics Anonymous has ever told me, and I hope will never tell any new couple, no one who really understands this program will never say to anybody, just stop drinking. You gotta try hard enough. Someone who's arguing, no, I think I can do it on my own. What I will do, if I'm moved to, just gently ask them questions about their own experience with that idea, share my experience, and if a new person is continuing to argue they have the belief system that they can control it, the big book tells me, I don't want to ruin a different later opportunity to help this person. Hey, brother, if you think you can do it, have at it, man, and let me know how it goes, okay? Because I want to know if you can do it. Let me know. Maybe you can share the secret with me. Our hats are off to him. Next paragraph. Okay, so this paragraph is the last paragraph we're going to cover on this page, and then we got 2 more paragraphs, and that's it, okay? We're going to put a question mark after the end of this paragraph. I want you to, as you're listening to this, ask yourself, was that me? Was that me? Have I had that experience? Okay, when I was drinking. Here are some of the methods we have tried. Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drinking in the morning, drinking only at home, never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, soaring off forever, with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to hog farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. Dash. We could increase this list ad infinitum, infinitely. Put a question mark after infinite. Do you have experiences like this? Put a big yes on the right margin there. Everybody good so far? Yeah, we're good? All right, beautiful, beautiful. We're almost done. We're almost done step 1, mental obsession. Instead of 20 pages, literally 3 or 4 pages, we're done. We're done, okay? Now, for our friends, for our big book, what's the name? Purist, big book purist, big book enthusiast. I am one of you guys, okay? So check this out. My experience has been the last 12 years of doing this, is that, man, when the person is ready, this is enough for them to really identify, and we dive into the rest of the steps. Now, this is the process, eh? When we go through the rest of the steps as outlined in the big book, what I do with my new person is when they're at the 12th step, we come back to the forwards, we cover the preface, we cover the forwards, we cover everything that was missed here, and they just love it. They can relate to the history. They love it. It's like it reiterates step 1 experiences while they're making amends, practicing 11 and 12, prayer meditation, trying to find sponsees, trying to sponsor people. While they're doing that, I'm still walking with them. Once a week, we have a big book appointment. We still go once every 2 weeks, right? We cover everything that was missed to our big book purists, right? So don't worry about that. But if you never cover those things that were missed, it's totally fine too. The newcomer will eventually go to a big book study that will cover all that for them, okay? So don't be afraid, okay? So let's go to page 34. Please, page 34. We're going to cover 2 more paragraphs and we're done. Okay. The second full paragraph on page 34, where it says, for those who are unable to drink moderately. The paragraph starts with the words, page 34, not page 35, page 34. It says, for those who are unable to drink moderately. The question is how to stop altogether. We are assuming, of course, that the reader desires to stop, question mark. Mr. and Mrs. Newcomer, we've gone through all this. Do you desire to stop? There's so many outs in this book. It's beautiful, right? Because the desire has to come from within. I can't force anybody. I can't coerce anybody. I can't manipulate. I don't have a magic wand. I just lay down my experience from my heart, ask them to question their own experience. The person has to come to their own conclusion. So at this point, if a new person is saying, I don't know if I have desire, God bless you. I shake their hand. I stay friendly with them. Let's go to meetings together, continue to examine your relationship with alcohol, but we ain't doing this no more. It's a waste of time. Desire to stop, question mark, put a yes to it. Whether such a person can quit upon a non-spiritual basis depends upon the extent to which he has already lost the power to choose. Please circle, lost the power to choose. Lost the power to choose. The same concept that we unpacked earlier in those italics earlier today on page 24. Comes again here, lost the power to choose whether he will drink or not, question mark after that. Can I now believe that I've lost the power to choose, that I never chose to drink, that I don't choose to drink to stay sober today? Okay, so choose, lost the power to choose, circle it, and now grab the yellow highlighter. We might make it stand out even more, highlighting yellow, lost the power to choose whether he will drink or not. Lost the power to choose whether he will drink or not. Okay. Many of us felt we had plenty of character. There was tremendous urge to feast forever, yet we found it impossible. Question mark. Do you relate to that? See how much is hammering home that idea that when I'm sober, I don't have the power to stay sober? Question mark after impossible. Grab the yellow highlighter. We're going to highlight the rest of that paragraph in yellow, important. This is the baffling feature of alcoholism as we know it. This utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or the wish. Beautiful, beautiful. In yellow, this is the baffling feature of alcoholism as we know it. This utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or the wish. And the last paragraph we're going to cover to end our step 1, first half of the first step. If you go to page 43, we're going to skip all the more about alcoholism. We just covered 1.5 pages, and now the last paragraph on page 43, okay? So 20 pages now. They hammered home to us, but we didn't cover the full 20 because we don't need to. We're trying to be efficient, right? So they hammered home to me what it looks like when I'm sober and the insanity of picking up that first drink, how much powerless I am, right? If that wasn't enough, the last paragraph, look what it says, once more. Ali, because they know once more, in case you missed it, the last hour and a half, once more, okay? Grab the yellow highlighter, highlight that entire paragraph after once more. I'm sorry, not the entire paragraph, highlight this in yellow. The alcoholic at certain times has no mental defense against the first drink. Okay, just highlight that in yellow, that's it. The alcoholic at certain times has no mental defense against the first drink. They say, once more, you don't have the power to choose whether you will drink or you will not drink. Not within your alcoholic at certain times. Lost the power of choice and drink, okay? Don't highlight this, except in a few rare cases. Now highlight this in yellow. Neither he nor any other human being can provide such a defense. Neither he nor any other human being can provide such a defense. Neither he nor any other human being can provide such a defense in yellow. Please grab the pen, circle any other human being. Circle any other human being. We're almost there. We got 1 minute left. We're going to use it. Any other human being, circle that. From human being, from that circle, please put a line and an arrow to the bottom margin. We're going to list some groups of human beings that we've tried to use to stay sober and hasn't worked, okay? For the newcomer. Okay, please write. So we're going to put an arrow to the bottom margin. doctors, comma. No, that group of human beings never was able to keep me sober. Therapists, comma. We don't have anything against therapists. God bless them. We need them. I use them in recovery. Just don't have the power to keep me sober. Romantic relationships. Love is not enough. Family. Romantic relationships, comma. Family. No. Any other group of human beings. Check this out, okay? AA members. Write that one down, comma. AA members don't have the power to keep me sober. Any other human being. And the last one, this may shock some friends, maybe some friends. Ready? Sponsors. Sponsors. Any other human being. Sponsor doesn't have the power to keep me sober. The sponsor helps me perform a certain number of actions that helps me tap into a power, okay? After sponsors put 3 dots, that means we can increase this list if we wanted to, right? Any other human being, okay, can provide such a defense. Beautiful. Finish. The last sentence we're going to read together, don't highlight it. His defense must, circle the word must, his defense must, there's many must in this book, by the way, must come from a higher power. Circle higher power. Higher power. Must circle, higher power circle. So at this, thank you guys. At this point in time, before I pass it on to Mickey, and I'm staying for an hour for questions, at this point, if this new person that I have met, now it took us 3 sessions, right? Usually, big book purists would take, when I used to take someone from the beginning, it used to take like weeks, a couple of months before we finish step 1, right? So in 3 sessions, usually when I take on a new person, especially at the beginning, I make sure I can give them 2 or 3 days a week. In 3 sessions in 1 week, I'm taking them to the first step. We're trying to get to inventory quickly, right? So if after this session, the new person says to me, I don't relate to this, it's obvious that they don't, I'm shaking their hand. I'm staying friendly with them. I'm walking with them a little bit more in AA, asking them to examine their own relationship with alcohol. But I'm not doing this with them, man. This is reserved for somebody who can concede to their innermost self. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Love you guys. Mickey, go on up, please.
Thank you so much, Ali. And I am Mickey, and I am an alcoholic. And since we're doing this efficiently and helping others through Ali's facilitating, I've picked the St. Francis prayer again, so we can all be vessels. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. There where there is hatred, I may bring love. That where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness. That where there is discord, I may bring harmony. That where there is error, I may bring truth. That where there is doubt, I may bring faith. That where there is despair, I may bring hope. That where there are shadows, I may bring light. That where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen.